Hey guys, what's going on? Evil here. So, it's time for a rant. I decided I need to do a rant, and it is time for one. So, my topic of today's discussion, while in the background you see me playing Fairy Fencer F, is what happened to games. I mean, just what happened. So, usually when there's a decent-sized launch game, either on console or PC, I usually do the bigger launches on console. So I usually purchase about, I'd say at least 50% of the games that come out for console, and literally my playtime on them is like half hour on some of them. It's a little ridiculous. So my question is just what happened? Like, why is this the case? And I think I have a general answer to that question. And I believe the case is just more and more companies are just want to make money, which is, it just sucks, because there's just so much potential in this, era, or whatever you want to call it, this millennium, to just do so much with these games, and the production, you can just do so much with everything. And you just don't get that. You get these half-ass made AAA titles that you still buy anyways, but you barely fucking play the damn thing. And it's terrible. I mean, a few examples of this is gonna be, for me anyways, well, Evolve was, was one of the first ones. That was a AAA title, and that game was absolutely terrible. They just missed something. I can't really pinpoint on what they missed, but they absolutely missed something, and the game was absolutely terrible. Another one that really hit me was Star Wars. I was really excited about that game, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you, as I bought it, I haven't even taken out of the package yet. So, because of what I've heard about it, and to the fact that there's no single player. How can you have a game with no single player? There's a lot of that, and that's happening more too. There's games with no single players. How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna make it? How are you gonna make a title like that with no single player? I just can't believe that. And it just makes me angry, because there was so much potential behind that game too. They could have made that game so good, but they decided to half-ass it and say, "I want to make some money. Let's just do this." That and these companies, they don't listen to their communities either, which is just sad. It's like, why don't you listen to us? Listen to the community. Trust me. Then you'll be able to make a decent game. For instance, Elder Scrolls. They came out with ESO. Don't get me wrong, ESO was a decent game. Wasn't good. It was decent. But then they went and decided to say, "Oh, we're gonna go copy Blizzard because they made so much money off Hearthstone. So we're gonna make our own card game." Which, by the way, they announced at E3 that it would come out in the quarter 4 of 2015. It's now I believe we're actually in quarter 2 of 2016, and they literally have not updated anything. So why don't you just make Elder Scrolls 6? The community is dying for Elder Scrolls 6, but instead you come out with this bull crap. Next, well, you know, you always have to mention Blizzard and when you're talking about these things. The only game where the Blizzard developers actually listen to the community is Hearthstone. That's it. Because I haven't seen an informal press conference or interview or whatever you want to call it by one of the developers of any of the other games. Except Ben Brode. He actually put a video out to tell people to calm the fuck down, pretty much. And we're working on it. I've never seen that from a developer, to be quite honest with you. If you've seen it, you know, tell me which developer it is, and you know, but for all intents and purposes, I've never seen a developer do that, and that helps. You know, it tells the community, oh, well, they're actually working on something. Actually, hear what we say instead of just doing nothing and not replying. At least you can say, oh, well, we're working on this or we're working on that, whatever. Even if you tweet it, a lot of people don't even look at Twitter. So it's easier to just come out with an actual... Actually, I think one of my guys is dead, on a side note, but it's easier to just come out with a video and just stating, oh, hey, by the way, we're doing this, this, and this, so stop bitching. It's easy enough, right? Apparently not. So, I mean, it just angers me to see games on downhill these days. It's just not a cool thing to see, and these titles that and the microtransactions and all that stuff, all the launch day DLC or these frickin' season passes. Well, season passes are a bunch of bullshit, in my opinion. They do absolutely nothing. I'm gonna wait over here because I don't want these guys to die. But they actually don't even do anything, and it's just it's stupid. Like, why would you do that? Just make this, oh, we're gonna sell you this day one, or you know, we're gonna try to sell you this season pass that by the time all the DLC comes out, the game will be non-existent anymore and you won't be having any fun. So that's just a crock of shit, in my opinion. And and it's going to mobile as well. It's all microtransactions. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I get mobile is a little bit more saying, okay, you can do microtransactions because most of the games you're not actually buying. But some of these titles you actually have to buy them and then buy more. No. And then the next topic is the stories. What happened to the storylines in games? I mean, I don't know where they went. They're non-existent. Most of the new games, their storylines absolutely suck. And like I said, I sit down and play them for a total of freaking 30 minutes and get bored because the storyline is neither enticing nor does it pull you in. And a lot of these old games, which the one I'm playing now, this one happens to have an extremely good storyline. The graphics aren't amazing, as you can see. It was a PS3 game, but they actually took time to, care about the storyline. Again, I'm a big fan of anime, and this is like an anime-based storyline. So, I mean, we're gonna have that not in common, that I, enjoy this type of story. But, just from seeing these games, the stories are just, they're not there. There's nothing to them. And then they expect to make a profit. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do. Unfortunately, they do. But, we want more stories. we want, you know, that, or that's what I want at least. I want a more story, some of these games to be story driven. I'll take the multiplayer. I love multiplayer. But if you're going to make a multiplayer game, just put a story mode in it too. Take the time to put a story mode in it, and you know, and then I think the game will be a lot more enjoyable and be actually worth $60. So if you say you put a story mode in the game and that you don't, and you do, but it's like non-existent, you might as well just not even say it's in there. Just don't, in the review, just don't even say it's there. You can just say, oh yeah, well, we're just doing this for multiplayer purposes. and some of the games, I mean, they come out, but they're just the same crap. I mean, it's just copying someone else's game that they already made. It's just a different skin and different characters. There's no, there's no innovation at all. So like, how do I just don't understand just what happened. I really, really don't. To all these games. And not to mention, the MMO side as well. I don't know if I've just grown out of them, or I'm actually, like, I just see, if MMO's coming out, it's just the same crap. No matter what kind of interface you put in it, no matter what kind of skills you put in it, what classes, races, whatever, it's just the same shit. You grind. I mean, that's the way an MMO is. I guess I'm just bashing on MMOs because to me, they just seem all the same. And like, there's nothing like new that pops out. And again, I probably grew out of them because I played so much MMO that other people may not have played as much MMO and say, oh well, I haven't played as much and it's not boring to me. I know, I get that, but at the same time, you have to. You pretty much have to satisfy two parties: the extremely casual party and the extremely hardcore party. So, and to be quite honest, there's no middle ground between those two. I think that they can do both, that they can put hardcore stuff in the game, or at least let the player choose how they want to play. So if you go to create a class, I don't know, in an MMO, it should ask you, which way do you want to create this character? Do you want to create it, in a hardcore fashion, so you have to, think up your builds and, put a lot of work into the character you're playing? Or you can play a casual way, where you don't have to, you can just choose one skill. You don't have to pick between a tree or anything like that. And you don't have to go in depth. You should be able to choose if you want to do that or not. Granted, I understand that it's difficult, but I think that's just what people want to see, because you always see people complaining, oh, you're catering to this particular set of players, or oh, you're catering to that specific set of players. Why can't you cater to us? Well, honestly, I think they should just cater to both. Spend a little bit more money. Spend a little bit more time. It's not, it's not that hard. I get some of the newer companies don't have as much money, but the bigger companies, they have a shit ton of it. And I think they can put the extra time and the extra money in to cater to both parties. So I think they should do that. And, again, with these new AAA games, I'm just, I'm really not excited. On my, on my thoughts about, because like I said, I've bought almost all of them, and the expectation level is extremely high. We shouldn't set it that high, but it is. But the quality is just not there. They're just not putting out what the community expects. And I know there's people that post on their forums all the time and say, "Oh, this would be great for, your next game." Now, do they read that? I have no idea. I'm sure they do, but how much do they take that into account when they create these games? I'm not really sure. And to be honest, I think they should do a little bit more reading. And I think they should spend a little bit more time and money, like I said, to create these games. And trust me, your work will be well rewarded. You'll gain a bigger player base, and it'll keep your players happy, which is the most important part. Alrighty, guys, that was my rant. I hope you enjoyed. Rant back at me in the comments section below. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you agree with some of the things I said? Just let me know. I love the feedback, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys next time.